Testing. All right, you're live.
Hi everyone, I'm Dr. David Perlmutter, and this is Where I Write. This is where I've written all my books so far. This is where Grain Brain was created, right here in my little cubby, and this is where Brainmaker was built. And my method of writing is as follows. I don't type really well. I can type a little bit, but what I normally do is I put on the headphones and I dictate. And usually it comes out, it says what I say it's going to say. Sometimes funny things can happen. But that said, new software really is great. I dictate really quickly and the computer is able to keep up with me. That all then gets cleaned up by me. I insert the references and then that goes off to Kristen Loberg, who then does her magic and makes it really very readable for everyone, as you have seen. My lifelong inspiration has been to serve as a teacher. That is the meaning of the word doctor. That was imparted to me at an early age by my father, and as many of you know, I've dedicated a lot of my work to Alzheimer's and other brain degenerative disorders. My father was a neurosurgeon, a brain surgeon. So it was very inspirational growing up with him in terms of brain science. I also in terms of keeping things around my office, one of the things I like to refer to frequently is a quote by Maurice Maeterlinck. It actually is right here at all times. I keep it near me. And I found this quote on the door of the office of Dr. Amar Bose Audio. Many of you, of course, have heard of him. And it says, "At every crossway on the road that leads to the future, each progressive spirit is opposed by 1,000 men appointed to defend the past." And I like that because we need to move forward. We don't have any real treatments for, that's the phone ringing, we don't have any real treatments for many of our most threatening neurodegenerative conditions. So I put myself out on a limb, recognizing that we've got to push the ball down the field, and how amazing it is for me that the points that we raised in Grain Brain and now the points in Brainmaker about the microbiome are being validated across the board at some of our most leading edge institutions. So what I'm working on right now that Brainmaker is out, is the follow-up global sort of media experience about Brainmaker, the lecturing that I do around the world, both in person with professionals like I did this past weekend in Miami, as well as social media outreach and doing online conferencing, interviews with thought leaders around the world, and I'm interviewing them as well. So this is where it all happens. This is my office. When I am working and I need to unwind a little bit and collect my thoughts, I have this great Bowflex machine, which is very, this isn't an ad for Bowflex, by the way, now. But anyway, it's a really cool machine because you can do all kinds of great different exercises. You can exercise your entire body using this one machine. The ball is probably the most incredible piece of exercise equipment I've ever owned. I use it for my back, abs, the whole bit. That is a sit-up board, and this is, of course, a Precor for when it's time to do aerobic. And for inspiration or expiration, I like to go out on the balcony here and get some fresh air. It's really quite nice to have a nice view of the ocean, and there are palm trees that have gotten really big in the 28 years that we have lived here. This morning we actually had dolphins visiting us, and our son actually reached down and touched the dorsal fin of a dolphin. So I'm going to get a lot of feedback from that. I hope it's not too negative, but no, it was fun. What can I say? So, aside from that, this is where it happens. I keep some reference books here. Most of my reference books, per se, are in my library, which is elsewhere in my home. With the beauty of the internet, I can pull up any research I want from various sources, so I can really tap in. And what can I say? These are the dates. So I'm here to answer questions. I know there's a couple of them being posted. So Andrew, where do they post the questions? What's the hashtag?
Right here. First question is, how much fat have you eaten today?
I haven't had anything to eat yet today, so a lot of times, believe it, I do my best work without eating. So I don't know, what is it, 10 o'clock Eastern? I haven't eaten yet, and I probably won't eat today till evening time. It's what works best for me, and I'm not suggesting everyone should do that, but I haven't had any food yet. And what is the hashtag they use?
So the hashtag's not showing up, but the next question is, how many grams of fat should you eat per day?
Well, should I eat or should a person eat? I think that as opposed to looking at the grams of fat, I would look at it in terms of the percentage of calories that you consume from fat, and I think that should be high. I think it should be up at the range of about 70%. And when you adjust down your carbs to 60 to 80 grams per day, and adjust down your protein, a lot of people are eating way too much protein, to about 0.8 grams of protein for every kilogram of body weight. So, 60 to 80 grams of protein a day is reasonable. Fill in the rest with fat. But again, moving forward, the message from me is fat's really important. Get good levels of healthy fats, coconut oil, grass-fed beef, extra virgin olive oil that is organic, nuts and seeds, etc. But the big issue is to really ensure that that plate is loaded with colorful, fiber-rich vegetables, micronutrient-dense vegetables, and really what we're all over now in Brainmaker is the notion that we've got to welcome fermented foods to the table, things like kimchi and kombucha and cultured yogurt. These are foods that are rich in good bacteria. They're covered with bugs. Who knew? And also getting into the place of embracing prebiotic fiber. Those are the nutrients that will allow the good bacteria to flourish, and those are things like Jerusalem artichoke, asparagus, garlic, onions, leeks, and Mexican yam, which is jicama, one of my favorite foods. So I really want to emphasize that beyond just looking at the macronutrient percentages of fat, carbohydrate, and protein, that really get into understanding how critically important it is to have prebiotic foods and probiotic foods.
So next question is, I like to eat spicy foods. Will that negatively impact the bacteria I'm trying to regrow?
Probably not. Of course, I don't know what spices you're referring to, but there shouldn't be any real detrimental, spices are natural products. They're generally root or rhizome derived, and they're great. I think pepper is reasonable as well. That's derived actually from the fruiting part of the plant. One of the best spices I think you can consume is turmeric, which comes from the rhizome. That's the yellow, actually it's an extension of the stem of the turmeric plant, curcumin longa. And it is really a powerful spice, a powerful herb. It's used in curry. But why I love it so much is because it actually is a gene amplifier. It changes gene expression that helps to reduce inflammation, enhance detoxification, and actually bumps up your body's ability to make antioxidants beyond those that you consume.
So next question is about specific probiotic strains, number of colony-forming units, etc.
I think we're evolving in our understanding of both of those answers. I think that 5 key strains are what I recommend looking for. They are Lactobacillus acidophilus, Bifidobacterium longum, Lactobacillus brevis, Lactobacillus plantarum, and Bifidobacterium lactis. One of my favorites, if you had to choose one, and I probably shouldn't, but I will, because what can I say, it's Periscope, and it would be Lactobacillus plantarum. And the reason I like it so much is because of all those species that I mentioned, Lactobacillus plantarum is really good at healing the gut lining. And what we understand is that across the board, in terms of inflammatory disorders, that's where the money is. You want to heal the gut lining. Leakiness of the gut translates to inflammation in your body from top to bottom, including the brain. So if you have to pick one species, I'd say Lactobacillus plantarum, but I don't want to pick one species. And in terms of the colony-forming units, you want to at least get into the tens of billion. What we are seeing now, which is really very, very exciting, is that there's a lot of emerging technology in terms of creating probiotics that allow you to really be certain that, number one, when you buy this probiotic, it still has a lot of viable organisms, and number two, when you consume that probiotic, it's going to make its way in a viable state past the stomach and then to take up residence in the intestine. And that technology is evolving month to month, and we're seeing it in health food stores. So it's a very exciting time for the science of nutritional probiotics.
So last question is, those suffering from hypothyroidism, can they benefit from a gluten-free diet?
The answer is absolutely yes. And in fact, this past weekend I lectured in Miami, and one of the lecturers was a Dr. Pamela Smith, and she's really dedicated her life to thyroid. And one of the biggest things she talked about was how gut issues, especially leakiness of the gut, permeability issues of the gut, are related to compromised thyroid function. And there are a number of mechanisms, not just autoimmune changes to the thyroid as a result of a leaky gut, but also when the gut bacteria are not aligned and not good balance, not good diversity, that compromises a person's ability to absorb nutrients. And some of the key nutrients that are important for thyroid are the B vitamins, vitamin C, zinc, copper, and perhaps most importantly, selenium. So when we don't absorb nutrients, trace nutrients like selenium, there are real issues for the thyroid. The thyroid makes what is called T4. It has 4 iodine atoms connected to it, but that's not the active form of thyroid hormone. The active form is actually T3, and in the clinical setting, we measure both T4 and T3, getting a sense as to how that person's able to convert inactive T4 into active T3. That's why you want to measure T3 when you go to the doctor, not just TSH and not just T4. The conversion of T4 into T3, cleaving off that 1 iodine atom, requires selenium. So that's really an important reason why selenium is important in the diet, and why it's important to have good gut bacteria in order to allow you to absorb your nutrients. Now, leakiness of the gut that can be induced by gluten, to get back to the question, again sets the stage for inflammation, and the thyroid gland is almost, I'd say, the #1 target organ for inflammation in the body. So that's actually a very excellent question. Pardon me? Oh, I'm supposed to wrap it up. Well, I guess that's it. I'm Dr. David Perlmutter. Thanks for joining me at my desk here where I do my work, and I look forward to talking with everybody again soon. Bye for now.